in that time, I just want to set up OBS, see if the stream is okay. Um, I, I've set up Twitch. Is Twitch okay? Should we do YouTube? I don't know.
You know what?
Whichever one is better.
Yeah, you might as well multi-stream. You might as well set that up.
All right, you're gonna have to walk me through that.
Okay, I don't know how to do it either, but I know it can be
we'll,
done.
we'll, we will figure it out.
Yeah. I believe there's a website called Restream.io that does it, but I don't know if that's the best one. That's the only one I know. I mean, I guess just look up like how to multi-stream. Best website for multi-streaming.
Gotcha. Okay. Um,
You said you were setting up OBS. Do you have OBS completely set up so far or
yeah, I've been using OBS for like all of the streaming that I've done. When I meant like I'm setting up OBS, I meant like I basically just created a Twitch channel within the last 10 minutes, so I'm just setting that up first, and then I'm going to do the audio levels to make sure it's not as bad as it used to be. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I'm trying to set up my OBS too for later. I'm trying to set up stream delay.
Save changes. Well, that's quite annoying. That's alright. It'll be fine. Oh, that's a good thing that I did not think about. Hey, you think you could whip up like a PNG logo real quick?
A
'Cause I
PNG
didn't think that.
logo?
Yeah, just something to put on to like the Twitch thing, so it doesn't look like just a random anonymous account that's doing this. I didn't think about that. That's something I should have looked into. Uh, hmm. And there's like a bunch of AI art pages that I can look at. Mhm. That's one great thing about AI. You can just search everything up and just have it fully open. Mhm. Mhm.
Huh.
Wow, what's going on?
I'm like, okay. I had like a weird like brain thing just now cuz I'm doing the
Right?
stream delay. It's sending the
Yep.
stream 30 seconds later to the viewers, right?
Right.
That's what I have going on. However, when I type in my chat, the chat hits it immediately. Like the chat shows up in my OBS immediately as I type it. So I'm like, wait a second, are they gonna see the chat 30 seconds before they type it? And then I'm like, I like it was just like a weird like stupid thing. I didn't put two and two together. I've been stressing myself out a lot. I'm not like at 100% mental capacity right now. I
I
just
mean, that's fine.
I
I
just
mean,
played. Yeah.
think about it like this, right? This podcast is basically 2 a.m. philosophical Discord humor.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you don't need to like have your full mental capabilities
Yeah,
yet. At
yeah.
least not for the first episode. Maybe like episode 100, maybe. But like until then, you got time.
I just played Portal 2, by the way. You ever played that?
Oh my god, it's like bro, Portal is like one of those puzzle games where I'll never get good at it. Just
You
by
know,
the time I finished. I think I was at a friend's house and I was playing Portal. That's like my only experience with it. By the time I finished like one of the first, because it's split into like different colored rooms, right? Especially like I think Portal One is the one that I played. Um, right?
yeah, yeah,
Correct
yeah,
me if
yeah.
not. I don't remember which color it was, but it was like the medium level or whatever tier it is. It took me like a good 30 minutes just to get one box from one side of the room to the other, and I swear to God, I have never touched that game ever again. I don't want,
Yeah,
I don't want it.
it took me 10 hours to beat the game, so
Uh, it's like one of those things where it's like, is this even worth it? But then you put so much time and effort into it, you're just like, I gotta finish this now.
yeah, it was fun. It took everything I had, bro. It took all my attention, all my brain power. It took everything I had. It was fun. I like how it pushed me like that.
You can see that, yeah. It's gonna be so fucking dumb. Alright. We'll see how this works. Um, I'm clicking yes. This will work.
What's
Alright, let's.
Do you know what
Yeah, go ahead.
shield mode is on Twitch?
Isn't that where it's like an auto mod? Like it'll like uh it'll basically just like cut down certain types of chat messages that
Oh,
might be deemed inflammatory. It's basically like moderation for people who aren't big enough for mods, I guess.
oh.
At least that's my understanding of it. Don't, no, I don't. Goodbye. Get out. I have to get my computer. unbearable. Not this. Actually, hold on. Yeah, different. Did you do like any content over the weekend, or is it just like? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but most of your stuff is like clips, right?
Yeah. Well, for the time being, it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get serious about content right now and make more than just spamming clips without worrying about title and tags and description and
Yeah,
thumbnail, any of that. But right now it is, yeah.
gotcha. No, it's just the reason why I was wondering is my understanding is when you have content on your channel, especially long form, then you make clips to sort of like boost that out, right? Um it's like hitting the NOS in a car, Fast and Furious reference.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. At least from especially with the gaming channel that I did, basically every time where I would do one of those like fusion shorts, if you ever looked at that, that would get like I'd say like anywhere from like 1 to 2K, and then consistently like 2 subscribers every short. Um, and I'm pretty sure if I kept up with it, that would just like eventually compound. But it's like one of those things where I didn't want to do the same thing every time just because that seemed repetitive. And I don't know, I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it is because it's basically me being the, oh, look how cool this PNG is. That's crazy. Over and over again, where it's just like, all right, that's enough. I want to do, it's not that I want to do something more worthwhile. It's just, I wish there was more to this than that. And so that's why I was like, all right, we can direct my attentions in a different manner. And so, yeah, this is a little bit different. Still the same thing where it's very much like, oh, this is cringe, this is base, this is bad, this is good. But I don't know. Eventually, I wanted to get to the point where there's a chance for a more nuanced take, where you can be like, this is bad, yes, but like everything has its own set of like bad influence and then good influence, right? Like
Yeah. I like that.
you
I
can
like how
take
you said that. Everything has a catch. Everything has a price. Everything has a positive and a negative. Always.
right. It's like one of those things where it's like people will look at someone like Andrew Tate and be like, all right, he's immediately good, he's immediately bad. It's like, no, he's a guy who did bad things. That's abundantly clear. No one can really say he's like a saint or anything, but he has a good like overall message, right? Which is you need to be more self-sufficient. You need to be hardworking. You need to have these like core disciplines. You need to work hard and stuff like that. Those are good messages. It just in order to get that out, he has to be provocatory in order for other people to hear the message. And so that's where I wouldn't say allow it, but that's where all you can understand where he comes up with all of the really viral versions of the clip where he's just like screaming at people or he's just like, oh, you're cringe or ooh babe, like you can understand where all of that's coming from because if this is something that he talked in like a recent interview with Owens where he's like people on the right will always be like, oh, we should tell young people how to do something this way or that way. But nobody wants to listen to that. They want to listen to people that they are either attracted to or they want to become. And so, and then he talks about himself where he's like, you know, he's very rich, he's very successful. He has all of these fancy cars, he has all of these women, and he has like a bunch of different like palaces, basically. These are the type of things that attract like the male mind. And so when you see someone successful talk about things just in general, you're more willing to listen because he's already figured out life. And so you'd rather listen to someone who has everything figured out rather than someone else that's like preaching to you. So he made that comparison. That's why I can never say he's 100% good or he's 100% bad. And that's really annoying because base human instincts is always like, all right, there's one answer to everything, right? Because from what I can tell, humans are very bad at like looking at things and being like, oh, there's more than one variable to this. It's always like this happened because this. She slept with that guy because that guy was a cheater, or like there's always like one answer to everything. When in reality, there's like 10 different variables that led to like a really bad decision.
I think people people can be really really good at it if
Hmm.
they're encouraged to enjoy the process of thinking and the desire to always dig deeper. But
True.
but when it's reinforced continuously, subconsciously in a way that like thinking surface level, like thinking with the perspective that 140 characters is enough to get a take, is enough to understand what someone's saying, then people just forget that it's even possible to think nuanced. I talked to a lot of people IRL, and I'm like so sick of talking to people who think like black and white, everything black and white, everything so simple. This is good, this is bad, this is healthy, this is not healthy, this is like people. Oh, you don't believe in this, you believe, like it's just the way that people talk. But getting them into deeper conversations, I don't find that they're necessarily bad at thinking deeper
Hmm.
and
It's just
trying
it's
to.
not encouraged anymore.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
the problem.
encouraged. It's not encouraged. And I find a lot, like, just naturally with kids especially, because I talk to a lot of kids. I have a lot of little cousins.
Same.
When I talk
I'm
to
like the
like
oldest out of all of my cousins.
when I talk to like 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids, it's so easy to get them to be in the mind state of trying to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, like constantly, and like never letting go of that. Of like, okay, what's the reason for this? Okay, well, there's got to be another reason. There's got to be another reason. There's got to be another reason. Like they play the why game and they get excited about that. But it's like nowadays people get so annoyed at kids playing the why game. You know, like why this because of this, why this because why that because
Look,
of this. People get
it's not even
so
that. It's just
annoyed.
like when you're a kid, you're very curious to understand how everything works. You're
Yeah,
like,
and I feel like
well,
people get irritated at kids playing the why game too easily. People get irritated so easily at that, and that extends further into other parts of their lives. People getting irritated at other people trying to dive deeper into things. And I think that's the same sort of same sort of thing where it's like people are not discouraged from. Well, a lot of my cousins were given iPads when they were like 3 years old, just to like shut them up because their parents didn't want to deal with the hassle of dealing with a kid that's actually active like one, you know. So it's like in a way people are not privy to the huge detriment to doing something like that. So they
mhm.
don't think there's anything. They don't fight their irritability when it comes to having tolerance for other people pushing for a lot of depth because it's painful to think like that. It comes with pain.
No,
It's a
not even
masochistic
that. It's
endeavor.
like it's really how do I say this? It's really annoying when you have to confront like an ideology or just anything opposite to yours, and you have like no rebuttal. You can't just be like, "Ah, shit, you're wrong," because when you can't say you're wrong because I think you're wrong, and they actually have good points. It really forces you to be like, "Why do I believe this? Why am I so focused on this one point? What's happening here?" And it forces you to reevaluate things. And people often get scared of that because then they're like, well, if I'm wrong about this and I'm wrong about everything else, and then they
Yeah, yeah,
start to like slowly unravel, right?
yeah. That's
And
happened to
so
me. Yeah,
it's one of those things where you can't be right all the time, but what you can do is take bits and pieces of like, different. How do I say this? No one person is right 100% of the time, but you can be like 85% right 25% of the time. Basically, in any given point, you'll have a good point to give on any topic. And that's basically where I stand, where it's like, if I were to debate someone on any of the things that I want to talk about, I will always lose 100% of the time. But at the very least, I'll give them a fighting chance in that I'll sort of poke holes, or I'll give them like a different way to view the topic. And so, in that sense, I think that's a better way to look at it than I'm not going to talk to you on this topic because I don't know anything about it. Which, this is another thing that I hate when people are like, "Oh, you can't speak on this because you're not part of this." That
Yeah,
makes no
I hate
sense
that.
to
I
me.
hate that.
It's like, no, that's not how it works. We're all human. We all understand what life is. We basically can speak on anything.
Yeah.
It's a dumb way to think about it, and it's being parroted a lot recently, and I don't particularly understand why everyone's so okay with that. Because then at that point, you can just be like, well, you're not Indian, you're not male, and you're not 22 years old, so that way you can't say shit to me. And then that
Yeah.
would just be the end of everyone's conversation.
Yeah.
No one would talk to anyone ever.
That is interesting. I want to dive deeper into that. I thought a bit about that. A bit about like how people use labels to
Mhm.
manipulate morality. Just labels in general.
I can see that, yeah. Mm, right. So okay. I have OBS open up. Also, I sent a very minimalistic logo that I made in the last 5 minutes. What do you think?
Oh, this?
Yes. I mean, it's basically just a PNG so that people will think, oh, this is like a real channel. It's not meant to like stay forever. I
Well,
just
what's your level of seriousness and personableness with the channel? Like what are you going for? Are you going for something more like more chill, more uh connected to the viewer, like some Achito type thing where he gives his takes and like talks to the viewer as if it's like a one-on-one type thing, or are you going for more like a reporting type thing? Like what are you going for exactly?
I mean, think about it like this, right? I don't want it to be like I don't want to speak from a sense of authority. I don't want to be like, oh, you should listen to me because this, and this, or you should follow my views because of this. It's basically just a bunch of friends or colleagues or whatever, basically just a bunch of strangers coming together to talk about a topic. I know one point is invalid, and that has like a whole different like issue with that entirely. But we've come to a point as a society where there's no sense of like a, a meeting place where you can speak to people that you are diametrically opposed to. Like you don't get people that are on two opposite sides that come to the table and talk about different things. It's usually just you and I agree on something at the same level, sort of, and so we're both going to attack one topic. And so I basically want this to be like if a bunch of people just got into a Discord call and talked about everything that happened. There might be parts where like, oh, this is kind of bad because of this, and this, or this might be good because of this, and this, but it's never to be like you should follow what we say. It's just like this crazy shit happened. This is weird. Why is it happening? Why are we letting this happen? Why is it popular? Basically,
You know,
um,
you know what I would recommend? I would
mhm.
recommend. I mean, okay, it depends on if you're actually trying to do this. I'd recommend
Yeah, go
just
on.
like putting like make it real personal. Like do it in a way that hasn't been done before. Like put your face over there or something, or put like like a funny Photoshop picture of like the whole crew or something like make it like personal, relatable, that kind of thing. That would be my approach. I would like change it up frequently. You know, how people like change their profile pictures out like meme pages, or people on Discord will like change their profile picture all the time to like random memes or whatever. I would do something
Yeah.
like that if I was doing this kind of thing personally.
Correct. No, I understand it. Sorry, could you just repeat that again? Just because I was typing something in. What?
Um, I would like, you know how people that don't take their accounts too seriously. They like change their profile picture up all the time. They put
Yeah.
like funny pictures of this and that and of like memes and stuff. Like I have this Patrick Bateman meme of my Discord,
Mm-hmm.
and like they, I'm like if I was doing something like your thing, right? I would just
Yeah.
put like some like SpongeBob edited picture. I'd put like a picture of like the like I take a Photoshop of like everyone's faces who's in the podcast and make some funny Photoshop out of it, and then use that as the picture. Like I would just have fun with it, you know. I would be really personal, like really down to earth with it. I wouldn't take the branding of it so seriously as
Gotcha.
to
Okay.
also like make it implied like this is just a group of friends not taking each other's opinion so seriously, you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's just what I would do.
Hmm. Right. I believe I have an idea on this. Okay. I'm also going to send him a message to see if he's now. Mm. Mhm. Um,
I'm doing this like whole this chat thing in such a jank way. But
is there no way to just like offset it by any chance or no?
wait, what do you mean?
Like if the stream is on a delay, can you not just like is there no setting
Oh,
to make
oh yeah, no.
one?
I that's all figured out. I don't have a problem with
Okay.
that. I'm trying to set up a on-screen chat. Like, you know, where like while you're
Oh,
streaming it shows up on stream. Like that's what I'm trying to do.
gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like it's such a weird I don't even know what plugin I have for it, but it's like an old thing, but it's tricky to make it look good.
Let me see.
And what's happening is as I'm changing it on one of my things, it's changing on like as I'm changing it in one of my scenes, it's changing in the rest of my scenes too, which is really annoying.
Hmm. Gotcha. I think this works. Image. Man, I am really bad at this. Nah, it's alright. Maybe 40. Trying to look this sort of frame of reference. I think that'll work. Alright, I'm gonna share my stream real quick. Or I guess my Discord, just so you can understand what I'm trying to work with here. Um, you know how they have like playing cards, basically?
Um, who?
Just in general, you know
Oh,
how when
oh,
you're playing poker or whatever, you like fan out your cards, right?
yeah.
That's what I went for. What do you think?
All right, yeah.
And then I'll probably have like a PNG of like the hand holding the cards or whatever
You
to
did
make it
this in
look like.
PowerPoint?
I don't look. I use the most jankiest off-brand shit. I don't fucking use DaVinci Resolve. I don't use Adobe like Photoshop. I use PowerPoint and fucking Shotcut, man.
Hey, if PowerPoint gets the job done, then it gets the job done. It's that simple.
Bro, you don't understand. For the gaming channel with like the little mountain and the controller thing, I made it in Paint 3D. I love using the janky ass shit because it's like I have an excuse when it looks so bad.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna start everything I start doing now. I'm gonna do it in Paint every time.
I mean, it has that like old school YouTube feel to it, you know?
Everyone can recognize Paint.
Mm.
Whoa, Paint
What?
changed.
Yeah, no, they made it like completely different nowadays.
It looks so. It looks totally different now. Yeah, that's still works the same. Looks like. Damn, that's weird.
It's sort of the same.
Are you talking about Paint or Paint 3D?
I use Paint 3D because
Oh, I hate that. I
uh,
hate Paint 3D.
really,
Yeah, I just use normal regular Paint. Paint 3D is to me like a worthless application.
I just use it because it came with my computer. It's like, oh, this is new. It must be better.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I wanted to.
Bro, look at this. Hold up, I gotta show you this real quick.
Oh man, we're learning about the secrets of paint today, boys.
No, no, no. This is I want you to just take a look. Let's see if they still have it. Take a look at this person's about page. Just look at their bio.
Um, oh boy. What? But why? Why? What is the point? You're not quirky. You're not funny. What is the point of this?
I
I mean,
always
but like 8 million though. But like
I
eight
know, I
million
know, that's
though.
crazy. But I always imagined, like, nowadays, dude, I see people use influencer as like an insult. Like, you get what I'm saying? Where it's like, where people are like, oh, influencer culture, influencer, oh, she just some like wannabe influencer. Like, they say that as an insult. Why would you play into it? Why would you lean
Well,
into it?
I mean, it's like how people do unironic things ironically. They will
Yeah,
use for real, no cap, no cap, in a normal ass
yeah,
conversation where
dude.
it has no reason to say it.
This feels unironic to me. I mean, if she's joking, then this is a genius play, like a parody of herself. I've never seen any of her videos. I didn't even know she existed until today. But
Mhm.
man, just thought I'd share that with you.
Bro, I think I think we're sort of getting to the point where how do I say this? Um, like you know how in the 2000s there was like the dot-com bubble where there was just like a bunch of companies that were being made and so much money was being shelled into it. I think we're eventually going to come to the point where there's just so much content out there that it's going to be very difficult for anyone to be individual anymore because you're just going to have people copying what's trending or what's new, and it's just going to be a feedback loop of just the same dumbed down content eventually over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like content's getting worse, dude.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I can see that. It's not particularly good, but I can understand why it's happening. That goes there, goes forward, and forward again. Hmm.
All right, I think I'm all set up and ready for this like dark web shit that I got going on later. I got like the single button that I just click it and it blurs and then unblurs the thing. So
Gotcha.
I got the stream delay, I got the chat, I got it all.
All right. And our friend is on his way. And we can get started, I guess.
Cool.
Which will be
So
pretty cool. Yeah.
also yeah, when you record, make sure because like you looking in OBS like at the audio sources on the bottom right, the audio mixer.
Hmm.
Make sure like wherever your thing is at, like my thing, my audio when I record is usually at like -2 decibels or whatever. But I probably lower
Gotcha.
it a little in case I like yell or whatever. But wherever it ends up like right in the middle of the red whenever I'm talking. Just make sure like wherever yours ends up whenever you're talking, like you could test it out. Make sure our
Mm-hmm.
voices also end up over there and adjust like our Discord voices for that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Actually,
I
I would make our voices a little quieter than yours, like a decibel quieter or whatever. Because you don't want our voices to like overpower yours when we start talking over each other.
gotcha. So yeah, I'm guessing like yellow versus red.
No, 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 no. Look at the decibel numbers. The decibels operate like logarithmically, or like they're exponential. So like a -30 decibels versus -15 is the same thing as -15 versus -10, like that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like ending up in the yellow is a huge difference from ending up in the red. If you want it to be like a difference to where even when we're talking at the same time, they'd still hear you clearly, all you'd really need is like a 3 decibel difference if you're in the red, and then if you're in the yellow, like let's say let's say you're at like 10, -10, I would be at like -15, something like that. Or lower than -15. It's tough to say exactly. When editing videos, the standard is like you want to podcasts say like, oh, you want to put the voices in between -6 and -12 decibels. But I don't care about like I don't buy that. That's what the industry
Mm-hmm.
standard is. I don't buy it. I'm like I want to put my voice as high as possible without it clipping. That I
Gotcha.
found has the best results for me. So I just put it to
Mm-hmm.
where like if I yell, it's just below 0.
Gotcha. Also, slightly better meme title thing logo. I'm I wouldn't say I get nervous. I just get like really uncomfortable, and then I just start giggling, whatever. And I don't know. I'll eventually figure it out.
This is a cool. I like this. This is a cool picture.
It's it's like when you're playing poker and you have like three cards. That's what I was kind of going for.
How many
Okay.
how, how many people do you think would be ideal for this kind of thing?
honestly, okay, this is where um we talk into like my future plans. I want it to get to the point where we'll eventually have like 5, 6 people in a call, and it'll be like that thing where it'll be like a rotating cast, where it's not going to be the same people every single week, because I imagine this to be a weekly thing. But like one week someone will sub out for someone else. That way we'll never run out of things will never get stale, and we'll always have um like a different take on everything, right?
Hmm.
So I'd say like somewhere between 5 to 7. I think that's usually the sweet spot there. Um, but that's like I don't know. I like a very like soft estimate of when we'll eventually get there. I'd say like maybe a month, 2 months, and from where we are now, where we'll have enough people to get everyone in. All right, let me. All right, he's calling me, so let's put all three of us into a call.
Yeah, yeah. Make a little group chat, or you could throw us in a VC. I'm down for whatever.
I'll do that actually. That's probably better.
Yeah, just make like a quick little server, or if you already have a server, then go for it.
We can just call each other here. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Milan.
Yo,
How are you doing, Mr. Frog?
what up? What up, Mister Asphyxia?
We
Mr.
call him
Choking
Michael.
Finish is fine.
Michael?
No, no, we call you Michael, my guy. What do you mean?
I mean, what do you think the username is for?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm just joshing.
Gotcha. How's your day, Michael? How's your weekend, man?
Man, it's been some. Well, I get a 1 day weekend. I'm only off on Sundays to go praise the Lord. So,
Yeah, I forgot you're from the good old righteous Lord land of Texas. Born and raised, huh, Michael? Actually, I
yes,
don't
sir.
remember if you were born there, but I just know
Well,
that you
I'm
lived there.
born in Louisiana, the
Yeah.
deep South, which is probably why I'm such a reasonable guy. If you ever hung out with Hicks? We're some of
No.
the most friendly people. Like people think we're just racist and stuff. No, we're friendly as fuck.
I mean, friendly is like a relative term, I'd say, but okay.
I mean, I'm pretty friendly.
Bro, Michael, you're about as friendly as like every black guy that's scary in a movie, okay? Like you never know if he's about to like swing on you or if he's about to like be your best friend.
Nah, that's just intimidation. It's a passive trait. I promise.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was supposed to get patched out a while ago, but they never did.
God really said you're too good at everything. Let's just change this up for a second.
The
Yeah,
devs need to nerf you. The devs need a nerf.
the devs were supposed to nerf us. You remember that? You remember the BLM movement? They were supposed to nerf us, but apparently, due to the player backlash, they just upped the ante.
All right. Well, I don't really know how to do this, so I guess we can just start introductions out of the way. This is Michael. I mean, none of this is going live yet. I'm just talking like out. So we
Uh,
sort of have like
yeah, you usually hang out with your guests before then, so that you
yeah,
can get
yeah.
a feel for each other.
This is like the prep stage. What would they call this?
Otherwise,
I,
you get a very awkward podcast because the people don't know each other yet. So
Normally
usually
we'd call this like backstage, but there's really no backstage here, so I guess it's just
the
the
back.
pre-show. No, no, we're not doing backrooms. That's dumb and cringe, and I hate you.
This is the back room, the room where it happened.
Yo, so wait, what do I call you, Michael?
You
Yeah,
can call
Michael.
me MJ. MJ or Michael works, whichever one you want to do.
I didn't know
I
your last name had a J in it.
My middle name has a J in it.
Gotcha. Okay.
so MJ. So what you like? You interested in this kind of like topic, like current events, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
What?
current events are great to talk about. Let's talk about how shitty it is in LA. No, I'm joking. They voted for it. They can have it.
In particular, tonight's quote unquote episode is gonna. Actually, I don't know if you've been up to date on this, Michael. Do you know about the whole like New York Kai Cenat thing where he's being
Yeah,
charged for
the
with like a
rioting stuff. Yeah, I was tuned into that. I was watching the fucking stream.
bro? Bro, how
Was
can
at
you
work
be so
watching the
fucking?
stream.
No, it makes no sense to me because Kai lives in New York. How can you be so tone deaf? It makes no sense.
What
You
are
know,
your thoughts on it? Like, just from you watching the stream, do you like what do you think? Do you think he knew what was gonna happen? All that stuff. Tell me.
don't blame Kai for what happened. A lot of people would blame him considering he was the catalyst. I blame the culture of New York City for that. It's like, think about it this way. If people are gonna go out and do stupid shit, they're gonna go out and do stupid shit. People rioted over Trayvon Martin despite Trayvon Martin's family asking people to remain calm.
It's also like a mob mentality sort of thing where it's like if you see
Yeah.
someone else going for something, you also don't want to miss out, right?
And the worst part is that it invites a bunch of the hoodlums of New York City into the equation, where they're gonna be violent. They're gonna start doing stupid things. And then a bunch of people who were, actually there to support the streamer, join in on the event, have fun, they get dragged into it because there's quite a few dumbasses in the crowd. If it was one guy fucking up cars and stuff, he probably just would have got arrested. But considering the fact that Kai didn't have any permits for the event, that's where I place blame on him. He didn't have any permits.
He
didn't
had
have
like
law
no
enforcement
permits.
control.
He didn't have a venue. He had
Damn.
like barely any security. At one point or another, you have to realize that Kai's like one of, if not
Fucked
the
up.
biggest streamer in the world,
Yeah.
and he gets like what 40K viewers per stream. And he lives
40K
in New
is
York.
low end. 40K is low end. This
I
man.
don't know, I'm lowballing it just to give him the benefit of the doubt. The thing is, right? He lives in New York, which is a highly populous city, and people know him there, like in his like neighborhood in general. And
Yeah,
when you say, "Hey guys, come over to this random corner, and I'm going to be giving out PlayStation 5s for free," you think that's not going to start like shit?
Exactly.
You
Do
have to be
you-
super delusional.
Do you think he did it like from like he was just ignorant to it, or do you think he knew what was gonna happen?
There's a part
I'll
of me
give
that's
him
like
this.
he's being ignorant, but
Probably
no,
ignorant to it. Yeah,
Really?
ignorance to it. I
I
think.
I
You think that his social media manager, he should have someone. He should have a manager. And he makes so much money to a point where he needs a manager. All these deals and stuff that he has with brands, he has to have someone who he runs things by before he